Welcome back to our series on the Hopewell Ceremonial Earthworks. We are standing in a truly special place, the Great Circle Earthworks in Newark, Ohio. If you've been following the series, you already know we've explored the earthworks in and around Chillicothe, from Mound City Group to the Hopewell Earthworks. These sites gave us undeniable proof of the Hopewell's engineering and astronomical genius. But if you're new to this, your first thought might be, it's just a big grassy field with some dirt mounds. And for a long time, that's how people viewed these sites. They dismissed them as primitive construction, just piles of dirt. But I want to start off by challenging that idea. I want to share a quote from Dr. Brad Lepper, a leading archaeologist who has dedicated his career to studying these sites. He says,
"The Newark Earthworks are mounds of dirt in the same way that the Parthenon is a pile of rocks."
This complex once covered over 4 square miles. It was a monumental architectural achievement that rivals anything found in the world. But unlike stone structures in Europe or Central America, these were built using the most sacred material available to the ancient indigenous people, Mother Earth itself. And what's left today, this perfectly circular enclosure, stands as a blueprint of their vision, a masterpiece that was almost completely lost to history. The Great Circle is truly immense. Its outer walls span 1,200 feet in diameter, and they once stood as high as 14 feet. Now imagine the effort this took. Thousands of people moving millions of basket loads of earth, meticulously shaping it into this precise geometric form. But its size isn't the only remarkable thing about it. Unlike other Hopewell earthworks, this one has a wide, deep moat on the inside of the walls. Archaeologists in consultation with indigenous communities have a compelling theory about this. They believe this moat, once filled with water, served as a spiritual boundary. It may have been some kind of barrier to keep the spirits from wandering off and to contain the sacred energy within the ceremonial space. At the very heart of the Great Circle lies a small feature known as the Eagle Mound. Early archaeologists speculated it was an effigy mound shaped like a bird, but modern consensus suggests that's just conjecture. However, excavations have revealed something far more significant. They found evidence of a longhouse and the remains of a floor made from alternating layers of different colored clay. This is one of the many examples of the Hopewell using colored earth as their deliberate part of their monumental architecture. Now, most interestingly, this mound is believed to have been a site for preparing their honor for burial. This connects the Great Circle directly to the burial mounds we've explored in our video on the Hopewell Mound Group and reinforces the spiritual and ceremonial purpose of the entire complex. Now, here's where the story of Newark Earthworks gets even more fascinating. What if I told you these sites were connected to others 60 miles away by a massive ceremonial highway? Now, this sounds like something that would be said by a pseudoscientific podcast bro, but the evidence here is compelling. Let's walk through it piece by piece. As discovered by Dr. Brad Lepper and other researchers, the first mention of this comes from Caleb Atwater in 1820. He speculated that the parallel walls emanating from the Newark Earthworks might extend for up to 30 miles. Later, in 1848, the famous surveyors Squire and Davis created the first detailed map of the site. They didn't mention Atwater's claim and showed the walls ending only after 2.5 miles. But then came a critical discovery. In 1862, amateur archaeologists James and Charles Salisbury created a more accurate map and wrote that they had personally traced the walls for over 6 miles, noting they were still keeping their undeviated course. They literally just got tired of following it. The next breakthrough came in the 1930s when aviation enthusiasts in Newark took aerial photos, which clearly showed perfectly straight lines of the road as crop marks in the fields. But the strongest evidence to date comes from modern technology. Recent LiDAR data, kind of laser-based mapping, has conclusively found fragments of the Great Hopewell Road up to 8 miles south of the Octagon Earthworks. The road points directly to the center of the Hopewell core in Chillicothe. So why would they build a 60-mile road? It leads us to a new theory about the Hopewell people. The sheer concentration of exotic materials found here. Obsidian from Yellowstone, copper from the Great Lakes, shells from the Gulf Coast, was once believed to be evidence of a vast trade network. But Dr. Lepper and others have proposed a different idea. This was a pilgrimage culture. These exotic items weren't just trade goods, they were ceremonial offerings that pilgrims brought from across the continent. The Great Hopewell Road, a ceremonial highway, would have been their route to take their journey to these sacred sites. To add a final layer of profundity, some research suggests the road's alignment also corresponds to the rise of the Milky Way during the summer solstice sunset, a sacred earthly path connecting humanity with the cosmos. This intellectual and spiritual genius is also carved directly into the geometry of the site itself. As we showed in our video on Hopetown, the Hopewell have a profound understanding of mathematics and engineering. They had a shared unit of measurement that archaeologists refer to as the Hopewell foot or yard. The most stunning example is the diameter of the observatory circle. It's perfect 1,054 feet. This precise measurement, or multiple of it, is found in architecture of at least 7 of 8 Hopewell UNESCO sites across Ohio. But the geometry here in Newark is even more sophisticated. Look at this. The circumference of the Great Circle is equal to the perimeter of the nearby square. And the area of the Great Circle is equal to the area of the hidden square that can be drawn within the Octagon, connecting alternate corners. And let's talk about the Octagon. It's the most significant example of the Hopewell's astronomical knowledge. Its walls are meticulously aligned to the 18.6-year lunar cycle. To make this more accessible, let's look at a story of how it was discovered. In the 1980s, astronomers Ray Hively and Bob Horn came to the site with a goal. They wanted to prove that there were no deliberate celestial alignments here. And they were skeptical of the idea that the ancient people could be so sophisticated. But after drawing every possible line through the earthworks, they were astonished to find there were no alignments to the sun. Their scientific curiosity piqued, and they decided to check the moon. And what they found was mathematically irrefutable. The earthworks align with all of the 8 moon's rise and set points during the major and minor standstills. Their discovery provided a powerful and humbling testament to the Hopewell's intellectual and scientific genius. This video, it wouldn't be complete without addressing the tragic story of destruction. An immense Newark Earthworks complex was the casualty of urban and industrial expansion. The narrative manifest destiny and progress led to the plowing over of fields for farms and the leveling of mounds for railroads and canals. The most heartbreaking example is the Cherry Valley Ellipse, a massive burial complex that was completely destroyed. The sacred earth of its mounds was used as slag to fill in low places for a railroad track. It's a chilling and powerful analogy for the colonization of North America. The fact the Great Circle and the Octagon still exist is nothing short of a miracle. The Great Circle was preserved because it was turned into a county fairgrounds. The Octagon survived because it was first a training ground for the Ohio State Militia, and then for more than a century it was a golf course. But there's a huge dub to the story. In January of this year, the entire Newark Earthworks complex was inscribed on the UNESCO World Heritage List. And this designation led to the dismantling of the golf course, finally turning the site into a protected archaeological and sacred space it deserves to be. What we've seen here today is the grand synthesis of the Hopewell genius. The Great Circle is not just a feat of monumental engineering and geometry. It's the heart of a vast ceremonial pilgrimage network. It stands out as an undeniable testament to the intellect and scientific genius of the Hopewell culture. We can easily look at these ancient builders as a distant, abstract culture, but in reality, they were people who were pretty much just exactly like you and I. They were complex, they were sophisticated, and they were brilliant. My goal with this series is to help you connect with these stories and to help you see these sites with the reverence and respect they so deserve. As Dr. Lepper said, I want people to be able to appreciate the grandeur of these sites and see them as the indigenous people may have seen them. I could stand here all day and tell you about the scale, but the photos and the videos simply do not do it justice. If you live anywhere in the area or you're driving through, please do yourself a favor and visit these incredible places. It's free, it's open to the public, and it's a masterpiece of human creative genius. just waiting for you to discover it. Thank you so much for watching. Our next video will be a deep dive into the Octagon Earthworks, the ceremonial calendar that tracked the moon for thousands of years. I'll see you in the next one.